$80,000 for a rental property. No, this isn't some rundown shack in the middle of nowhere. This is a real property in good condition that can make you money. Hi everyone, I'm Joseph Khateri, realtor in the state of Virginia, and today I'm going over these cheap homes that aren't as bad as people say and that I actually advocate buying for because people think you need $500,000 for a home. And in fact, that's the average home price in America right now. But I'm about to show you some real properties that are affordable, rentable, and can actually cash flow. And if you think buying cheap means low quality and high risk, stick around because I'm going to explain exactly why that is completely incorrect and a myth. And why some of these make the best rentals, especially when the government is paying the rent. All right, everybody, I just happened to see this on my homepage. I guess it's one of my recommended on Zillow. It is $84,000, $900, and it is at 2408 Brookhaven UN Avenue Southwest, Birmingham, Alabama, which is where I have some investors actually. It is a single family, 3-bed. Okay, so it is 14 days on Zillow, gas floor furnace, hardwood floors, arched openings, textured walls, built-in shelving, wood burning furnace, and metal roof. Currently rented actually, so we know that people at least want to live here. So it looks to be fine on the outside, not the best pictures, but you have to understand that when you're in this cheap of a home, the realtors aren't actually making that much money. So fun fact, realtors on average make 2.5% commission, up to 3% usually. So on a home this cheap, they are making somewhere between $2,100 and $2,500. And keep in mind that a lot of them have 70-30 splits with their brokerages, which means it's actually more like $1,800 for potentially on average 80 hours of work. I feel like 80 hours is the average amount of work a realtor puts into a listing. So sorry, I got sidetracked. Let's look at these pictures. Okay. I mean, they look fine. Obviously this was taken with like an iPhone. I don't see any major cosmetic defects. The home looks to be in decent condition. And that's really just what we want. Yes, it is older, as you can see by the wood everywhere, but it's still decent. And that's all we're really looking for. Decent, especially at this price of $84,000. Now, to show you that this wasn't just a fluke, let me go ahead and show you some more. So we're looking at Birmingham, Alabama, up to $100,000, 2-bed, and we're only looking at single family homes. So sort by newest, let's look at some of the new ones. 83,000, this one is 1950 square feet. No pictures, I'm gonna ignore that one. This one seems to be 40,000. That's really cheap. Let's look. This is definitely gonna be a rehab one. Okay, so doesn't say, again, there's no real pictures here. Here's a better one. This one definitely has pictures. 97,000, 3-bed, 1594 square feet. Yes, these homes are older, but just get an inspection, look at the bones of the place, and if the foundation is still going great, then I see nothing to complain about, honestly. So this home, it looks to be, again, decent. The flooring probably needs to be redone, maybe even put some a luxury vinyl plank on top. Some vinyl plank, maybe like a 12 mil wear layer. And that's about it, really. It looks like all these cabinets are fine. They even open them for some odd reason. Yeah, I don't see anything major going on. It's just an older home. Okay, definitely either do a good remodel on the floor or put some vinyl plank on top of it. I'd probably do vinyl plank if it ends up just being cheaper. Or honestly, I'd do vinyl plank if it's even like 70% of the price, within 70%. Let's go ahead and keep looking just because I'm feeling it. Here's another 70,000. This is a smaller house, 2-bed, 800 square feet. And again, there's nothing. This one actually looks fantastic. Oh my God, that looks gorgeous. Someone really was good with interior design. My house doesn't look this nice. Wow, okay. Oh, look at the dog. Now you might think, okay, maybe Birmingham's just an exception. Maybe it's just super cheap there. That's not the only place that has these types of homes. Like, let's look at Detroit. There are 1,030 under 100K. Now, yes, a very large portion are going to be auction homes, foreclosures, drug dens that nobody would want to live in. But a decent chunk is still going to be good livable homes. Let's see this one. $50,000. It is 900 square feet, 3-bed. It is newly refinished, sold as is. Ooh, okay. So whenever it says sold as is, that means that they don't want to do repairs. Meaning they probably know that there's some stuff that needs repairing. But let's go ahead and look at some of this. Okay, this looks gorgeous. Now, I'd be concerned why it's so cheap. Honestly, I'm kind of feeling like maybe that location's not the best. So let's go ahead and keep looking. All right, here's another. It's a little bit smaller. Again, it's 800 square feet. It is $80,000, But I mean, this just looks so beautiful. This is gorgeous. Okay, here's one that is $60,000. It even says in the description, this home needs some time, love, and care. 3-bed, 1,400 square feet. Single family residence. Yep, we can definitely see some of the paint chipping right there. I can see it from here, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It just means that, again, it just needs some time, love, and care. But, I mean, the bones of this look great. It really does. Put some vinyl plank on top of everything, give everything a nice white finish. And I think this would be great. Now, let's say you're looking for something a little bit more turnkey. Well, guess what? They exist too. Here's one for $93,000, 3-bed, 1,400 square feet. And this is move-in ready. It really is. Like, yes, that flooring looks visually like not amazing, not perfect, but that doesn't stop anyone from moving in, especially if the rent price is good. And it's looking like homes in this area could rent for $1,200 where the tenant pays all the utilities. Now, there are 2 ways we typically go about buying these types of properties. The first is that you can do something like a super low down payment, 3%, 3.5%. However, the catch with those is that you have to live at the property for at least 1 year. Now, what a lot of people do is they end up buying a multifamily home. So let's go ahead and select just multifamilies. Okay, here's a good example. It is a duplex for $90,000, and it looks to be in at least decent condition, definitely move-in ready. So they just live at the property for 1 year, rent out the other unit, and then after a year, they rent out the second and go on to the next house. The second option is you do a 20% down payment conventional or DSCR loan. If you're looking for DSCR lenders, go ahead and join my Section 8 Mastery program linked below, because I have a whole network of realtors, lenders, etc. that I personally work with and can refer you to. So with homes like this that are $75,000, your mortgage, taxes, and insurance are only going to be maybe $600. And we just saw, it could be rented for $12. Now, yes, some of that will go towards maintenance, for example, but I'm seeing an average of about 15% ROI on these homes, sometimes 20. So why are these homes so cheap? Why do they exist? Why aren't more people buying them? Well, to put it bluntly, most people think that they are trash. Most people don't want to live in these areas. And I think it's because these are B tier and C tier areas. Everybody wants to invest in the big names. Miami, LA, New York, right? Where home prices, first off, are ridiculous, where you have to already be rich to even invest in those areas. Whereas places like this, like Detroit, Cleveland, St. Louis, Birmingham, they're on the rise. So it's a great time to get into these markets, especially with home prices this cheap. For example, Detroit has put in a huge amount of money in the past 5 years, revitalizing the entire city. So these cities still have jobs, they have a population, they have rental demand, and home prices are affordable. And reason number 2, like I mentioned a little bit, the media makes it seem risky, right? Whenever you hear about cities like this, you usually hear about all of the crime, the bad schools, the economy struggling. But what they don't tell you is that people still live there and people still need housing. Rents are increasing year after year and demand for affordable housing is higher than ever. Like, do people just think nobody lives here? All right, before we continue, I wanted to tell you all about my Section 8 Mastery program. If you want to work with me one-on-one, get access to my realtors, lenders, as well as have me personally guide you to buying your first Section 8 property and getting a tenant in there, click the link in the description. It's the first link. That way, we're going to go ahead and set you up on a free strategy call with a team member of mine in order to figure out if Section 8 is the right strategy for you and how I can help you one-on-one. If you're interested in this, there's a limited number of slots available because, again, I'm working with everybody one-on-one. So go ahead, click the link in the description immediately if you at all are interested. Okay, now let's talk about regular versus Section 8 tenants. Which one is better? With a regular tenant, you advertise, they apply, you make the lease, you collect rent every single month as well as a beginning security deposit. They can up and leave at any time if they really wanted to. It would break the lease, but honestly, unless you go after them in court, there's not a whole lot that can be done. And a Section 8 tenant is the government paying you directly. Now, again, let me repeat myself. If you're worried about rent not being paid with regular tenants, that's not a worry with Section 8 because Section 8 guarantees that money by the government direct depositing it to your bank account. So, regular tenants. Tenant pays all the rent. Tenant typically pays the utilities as well. They can up and leave at any time. They don't have to renew their lease. And there's typically a higher turnover because, again, they move often. Section 8 tenants. The government covers 70 to 100% of the rent. It's guaranteed every single month, and they typically stay for a lot longer. As long as you're not a slumlord investor, they typically stay for 5 to 10 years because getting these homes in the first place are difficult enough for them. As soon as they find one they like and the landlord treats them okay, they hunker down and stay for as long as possible getting free rent. You don't have to deal with checks bouncing. You don't have to deal with 5-day notices to pay or quit like I've done before. They stay forever. And the checks never bounce because guess what? It's direct deposit. But here's the reality. These homes aren't going to stay this cheap forever. Big investors are starting to buy into these markets. Government programs are increasing the rental payouts every single year, and more people are looking for affordable rentals. Now, with Trump's recent changes, I believe that it is going to be harder to get vouchers on the tenant side of things, which is good for landlords. But that also means that more landlords might be interested in this strategy. I mean, I have 6,000 subscribers, and admittedly, people are still DMing me interested joining my program. If you wait 5 to 10 years or even a year to act, then the 80K house might be worth 90, might be worth 100, might be 120. So if you're thinking about getting real estate, but you just don't have enough money for that 400K house, this is your shot. And let me go ahead and even show you a place like Akron, Ohio. Akron, Ohio was a place that everybody was advocating for 2 or 3 years ago. They were saying, home prices are so cheap here, 70K house, 80K house, seller financing. But let's look at it now. I mean, 2 to 3 years later, guess what? Under 100K, there's 5 houses under 100K. That's crazy. And it's only been, again, 2 or 3 years since people started saying buy Akron. If you're looking up to 150, 11 results. Are you kidding me? That's almost nothing. Now, let's say up to 200, only 15 results. And these are for multifamilies. If we switch to regular homes, looking up to 100K, there's 70. However, how many of these are actually worth buying? And it seems like almost every single one is right at the 100K marker. So if we're looking at only 70 in this area, whereas somewhere like Detroit had 1,000, I mean, you can just tell the inventory has crazy gone down. And we can even see, let's look at the 5-year forecast. So approximately around 2 to 3 years ago, when I first got into Section 8, home prices were at 104 on average. Now they're up to 130 in Akron. That's the price of waiting to get into Section 8. 30K appreciation over the past 3 years. All right, everybody, that is all I had. If you want to see more videos like this, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and comment down below. Again, if you want help finding these affordable houses, financing, getting the tenant in there, go ahead and join my Section 8 Mastery program. Book a free strategy call using the link in the description. Again, I'm not really selling the type of course where it's a PowerPoint, you buy it, and then I ditch you. It is one-on-one mentorship. As always, I'm Joseph Khateri, realtor in the state of Virginia. Have a nice day.